God?
Have you ever said anything that when you said it, it sounded like it was okay, maybe it was a good idea, but then later on you realize that wasn't so good. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, or wish I hadn't have said that. Have y'all ever done that? Well, that's what I'm going to tell you about a time that's exactly what I did. My name's John, and I'm one of Jesus' disciples, and Jesus was such a close friend to me, and we had spent all this time with him, and we were walking one time on our way to Jerusalem, and as we were walking, he started telling us again about how he would be crucified, how he would be hung on the cross, and how he would die, and how he would be beaten, and all the things that would happen to him. And while we're walking, he's telling us, and it scared us because we really didn't understand exactly what he was saying. But, as he said this to us, I thought to myself, and I even asked Jesus, I said, well, Jesus, I have to ask a favor of you. When we get into the kingdom, can I sit on this side of you and my brother sit on this side of you? And instead of thinking about what my friend just said, about how he was going to be crucified for us to receive eternal life, you know what I was worried about? I was worried about myself. I was very selfish, and my brother. And instead of being worried about my dear friend who was about to be crucified, I was worried about where I fit in and what was going to happen to me. And so Jesus took the time and he explained to us what it was to be a servant and what it is to be a follower of Jesus. And being a servant is helping other people. It's about putting other people in front of your needs. Maybe it's opening the door for somebody when they have their hands full. Or maybe you all that are at school, you see a friend drop a book. Instead of looking and maybe kicking it out of your way, maybe you bend down and pick it up and hand it back to them and say, here you go. Or maybe it's little things. Maybe it's helping your brother or your sister at home. Maybe they've got toys out in the room and they're not your toys and you don't have to pick them up. But you know what? To be a servant, to be like Jesus, that's what he would have us to do, is helping each other and putting others in front of our needs. And as Jesus explained this to us, he explained to us the most important thing was being a servant and putting other people in front of us. And if I would have had that attitude, I wouldn't have been so worried about myself. I wouldn't have been so worried about what was going to happen to me. I would have been more worried about my dear friend Jesus and what he was getting ready to do and what he was getting ready to go through. So think about this. When you guys have opportunity to help somebody and you have opportunity to put someone's needs in front of your needs, then you're being a servant. Because that's what Jesus did. Jesus was God. And he came here to live with us. And he suffered all these things. And as he was walking, as we heard last night, the woman that came and just touched the hem of his garment, and he healed her. And he raised the girl from the dead. And all these miracles that Jesus did. And you know what he was doing? He was being a servant. And he was showing us the attitude that we need to have in our lives of being a servant and not being selfish, which is what I was when I asked him about where I fit in this big plan. And so when you have opportunities to help somebody, when you have opportunity to help your brother or your sister, then you're being like Jesus. And that's what he wants us to do. He wants us to be servants and be like Christ. Thank you.